How are you?
Hi, Bim. How are you? I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Welcome to the BlueSitron Podcast. It's so lovely to have you here. And just thank you for taking time out because I know you are a busy person. So, Freda, well, for listeners to know, Freda is a very good friend of mine. We met in Oslo and we've been friends since then. And although she lives in Berlin now and I still spend my time between London and Oslo. But in any case, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. I would let Freda introduce herself to us. So Freda, who are you? Before I start asking more questions.
Thank you, Bim, for having me on your podcast. I look forward to our conversation. And to your listeners, so my name is Freda Katunda. I am a healthcare, global health professional who I would say has many addresses. Originally raised in the US, but born in Kinshasa, Congo, and later moved to London to further my studies. And now I'm in Berlin, almost 2 years now, working full-time for a software as a service company. And I'm just really passionate about professional and personal improvement and about reducing health and social inequalities globally. So yeah, I look forward to our conversation, Bim.
Oh, wow. That sounds like something that is very rewarding in terms of, the health education aspects and a whole lot more that, you guys are into. So, well, now that you mentioned that, Freda, why have you decided to go into, the health industry? Is this something that you've always, wanted to right from the get-go as a kid, or you just thought, okay, this is something that'll be rewarding. Maybe I should try this out. Why did you choose this career?
So this all stems from my personal story as a child. So as I said earlier, I was born in Kinshasa in Democratic Republic of Congo, and this was back in the 90s. There was a military uprising, and during this time, I was also sick as a child with malaria, and I required a blood transfusion, but many of the hospitals were closed because of the political climate. So my mom is a US citizen, and through my grandfather working at the embassy, he knew that all US citizens can leave the Congo, and I was a US citizen by default through birth. So my mom and I left the Congo and made our way to the States, and this is where I received my blood transfusion and care for the disease. And it's funny that I ended up working at Boston Children's Hospital later in my career, which is the very same hospital that took care of me as a young child. And so hearing this story as a kid just really sparked this urge to help others. And I didn't know what it was going to be. I was like, maybe it's a doctor, maybe it's a teacher. And in high school, I remember my guidance counselor telling me, there are other routes. Have you ever thought about health management and policy? And I looked into that program, and it felt fitting for me and for what I wanted to do, because I was like, I don't think science is really great for me. So that's really the story, how I got into healthcare and kind of continued my journey from there.
Oh wow, that's and as you said, it's ironic that you actually ended up going to or working at the Boston Children's Hospital. So that's just well, maybe there's that. I don't know. I don't want to say spiritual touch or whatever. How the whole world life, spirituality or whatever works, like somewhere that you've been and then you go back there again. So it's just amazing. What a coincidence.
It really is.
So this career path that you've now taken up, I mean, there's got to be something that has helped you to continue to grow. As you mentioned, you did go to, you schooled in the UK as well, and then now you work in Berlin. So were there any specific, requirements or skills that is helping you to progress in this field?
Yes, definitely. First, I would say communication. And I say this because I'm an extreme introvert, and many people find that hard to believe because of how I come across as very open, friendly, and personable. But trust me, it took years of practice. But I really am a shy person. So when I was in my undergraduate doing my 4-year bachelor's degree, I had a high-profile internship my senior year at a hospital. And then right after that, after graduation, I was given a position with high visibility at Boston Children's Hospital. And so these two roles actually really allowed me to break out of my shell, because I was in constant contact with, of course, managers, but also directors and CEOs internally and externally. So I knew that I always had to put my best foot forward.
Lovely. That's another impressive stuff. So with all of this, are there any challenges that you're looking to take up, that would even continue to propel you in your career?
Yeah, so I want to start my own business. And
okay, lovely.
This has really come from, my mom is very entrepreneurial, and I've learned this definitely from her, is to just really I want to create my own life. And I have been grateful for the organizations and companies that I have worked for in the past, and they all have taught me so much. But I have my own vision for myself and what I want to execute out into the world. And so I believe by starting my own business, I'd be able to do that. So I will leave you with a teaser, but I am working on something with a friend, and I hope that I could be asked again on your podcast to talk about that in more detail once it becomes official.
Okay, all right. Okay, that is a teaser, because now I actually really want to know more, like, okay, what exactly is this about, but okay, there's still going to be more opportunities, and that is essentially me inviting you again, so to come on and and tell us a whole lot more, and maybe, as you say, with your friends, so maybe it could be two of you. Actually, we could definitely have this 3-way conversation, so that would be amazing. Anyway, so Freda, with all these amazing things that you're doing, who is the woman behind it all? So you've told us, where you were born, and what, essentially what took you eventually to the US, and not to the US really, but more about the health situation of having malaria, and then having to leave the DRC and moving to the US, so what else? Who are you? What do you enjoy doing? We already now know that you're an introvert, but there's got to be something else. Who's the woman behind all of this?
Yeah, so the woman behind all of this, I would say, is very self-reflective. And I know that's probably not a standard answer that you would receive for this type of question, but I'm always thinking about how far I've come and where I want to go, and always, looking at the vision that I had for myself 10 years ago is so different than now. And so I'm always looking for ways to improve my emotional intelligence. So I love reading. I also am an outdoors person. And so I enjoy spending time with myself in nature, I love music. I come from a music family as well, and that's been in my blood. So I sing to myself because I don't think anyone else wants to hear me sing. But
oh, that's what you think. That is what you think. If you come from a music family, you have to share this with us. I mean, at some point, you definitely have to come back on and share with us. I'm not going to put you on the spot right now and ask you to sing, because you will not. You will just be like, no, Bim, I'll pass on this.
I will definitely pass on that. But hey, maybe I could ask my mom.
Oh, that would be lovely. It would be so nice to hear her sing. That would be amazing. Yeah. Oh, wow. So, but if she sings as well, your mom, what type of songs is it? Is it more songs from the DRC, or is it, the usual, R&B songs, or what does she sing?
Oh, she sings everything. But I grew up in the church, and so when a lot of the times when she sings, they are very spiritual songs. So it's always very soothing, and every time, if I have a bad day, she just sings, and that just lifts my mood up 1,000%.
All right, perfect. Okay, well, thank you for sharing all of that with us today, Freda. And it's always amazing to speak with African women like yourself, albeit you're also an American, but of course you're African first, African always.
Yes.
And it's always nice to hear hear from women and about women that are doing amazing things. And I think it helps it helps one to reflect and know that, I can also do this, especially the younger ladies that are just, coming up, the ones that are leaving universities, for example, or even the ones in high school, and even, the African child, even young boys as well. They can listen and go, okay, maybe I could also, be within the health system, the health industry, without necessarily being a medical doctor or a nurse. There's so many things one can actually do in different and respective industries. So yeah, that's amazing. Do you have one parting advice for our listeners today, Freda?
Yeah, so I would say never give up, stay resilient, and get out of your comfort zone. Also, do not plan every inch of your life, all things that I have had to learn the very hard way. And like you said earlier, I hope this sparks interest into your listeners that, okay, maybe I can do something in health and it doesn't necessarily have to be a doctor. And I really want to circle back to what I said earlier about communication and being self-reflective. So I didn't see myself in the position that I am 10 years ago today, but I actually thought I would be shuffling policy papers around for a bureaucratic institution. But I ended up finding myself talking to the very people that are proposing and implementing policy or creating health economic evidence, and guiding them on how to effectively communicate their findings and information to different stakeholders. So to be honest, really never give up. And if you're set on something, keep pushing forward and get out of your comfort zone, which has allowed me to step outside of the US because I was so comfortable. Because we all know that the US lifestyle is a lifestyle of convenience. And I went to a new country, and I'm now living in a very, non-English speaking country, and that's really pushed me because there are so many barriers as a woman, as a Black woman, and as in the language barrier as well. And so it pushes you to levels you didn't think you could ever get to. And so I would say that would be my piece of advice.
Oh, thank you so much, Freda. Thank you. We're definitely having you back. That's so for happy. Sure. That is for sure. I am having you back here. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening and have an amazing weekend ahead, because of course today is a Friday, so the weekend is, is about to kick in. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to catching up with you much later.
Thank you for having me, Bim.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.